I had a big life change this week, gentlemen.
Oh.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones I think I've ever had so far in my 38 years on this earth. I canceled my Netflix account officially.
That's
Nice.
wild. It took you that long to do it.
Well, listen, I was a paying subscriber, I think, since it literally started. I used to get DVDs in the mail. As a matter of fact, somewhere around here, I have still a DVD that I never returned in the original Netflix sleeve, like the paper sleeve that they would mail it in.
Nice.
That shit might be worth something on eBay. I might have to fucking look into that. But
Worth about $350.
no, but to be honest, I would have canceled years ago, as you guys I'm sure know. But my aunt uses it. She uses my account because it's just easier for her than some of the other stuff that we use.
Yeah.
But she took over the payments because I was like, I'm just going to cancel it. And she was like, well, I still want it, so I'll pay for it. I was like, okay, whatever. So she's been paying for it. As you guys know, they just recently upped the price again now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's going to go up again. Like, they're not done.
Oh, yeah.
So almost...
They did the same thing to YouTube TV, or they are. We actually canceled that just recently.
Ooh.
Almost $30 a month is outrageous for Netflix. And
Is that what it's at now?
it's like $24.99, I think, for the top thing. So, like, think of it this, like, all the things that they've done, right? The first scummy thing was making it so you could only be logged into 2 devices, right? That was the first thing. Now there's just price increase after price increase, which is ridiculous. They have 600 million subscribers or something like that. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's like
Hulu's pretty bad about that, I hear, too. Like, logging in, like, say you travel somewhere and you try and log into your account, and so, nope, you can't do that.
Of course.
You can't watch Hulu while you're on vacation because you already have one location and one device.
It's fucking stupid. And it's predatory, really. And so, you know, she also, I told you guys a couple weeks ago about the Optimum and MSG situation. So she's also a Rangers fan, can't watch the games. She signed up for a trial of Fubo because they get sports.
Mm-hmm.
That on its own is like $80 a month. And the video quality she showed me is fucking horrendous. Like a joke.
Really?
They're the ones that sued the big three over their sports deal, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
They sued Disney and WB, and now I think Disney's a majority shareholder in that company, and they said, we'll stream on Fubo.
So
they just bought them.
So she canceled Fubo because I hooked her up with the NHL 66 thing, Marvin, that we found.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's a classic.
Yeah. Well, that one you got to pay $10 a month, but I'm happy to pay $10 a month for access to like literally every hockey game imaginable, even during the playoffs.
I've never paid for it.
Well, if you don't pay for it, you got a VPN. So you're either paying for a VPN or you're paying for their premium, which has a built-in VPN. Anyway, so she canceled Fubo, and like a day later, she found out that they're also raising their prices to like $90 a month. I know we talk about this every week, but it's ridiculous because we're living in late-stage capitalism, and this is what happens. So, I just think Netflix is like, they're just out of their fucking minds because they're just gonna raise it again. There's nothing stopping them because they're literally a monopoly. That's like exactly what a monopoly is. They have a stranglehold on the market. And the thing is weird though, is that, you ever hear the saying like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled on mankind was convincing us he didn't exist or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the greatest trick capitalists ever pulled is convincing regular working class people that they're the good guys. Because the amount of people I've seen on Twitter or social media just like jumping to the defense of these fucking people of like, well, I mean, they offer a lot for $25 a month. Like, let's be real. It's like, what are you fucking high?
Those are bots.
They're just not people. You're right. They're not people. I hadn't
Reddit,
even considered that.
I'm a big fan of Reddit, and Reddit has become so popular that when you look up something like, you have to like scan the account of the person that's posting because you don't know if it's a bot just trying to sell something or like do fake reviews on something. So, yeah.
Marvin, I've been up in my Reddit game lately. Just a little side note. You'd be proud of me. I almost had a 4-day streak going. I got a little notification saying, keep it up.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, so you must be on the regular Reddit.
I just go on the
like
website.
the normal Reddit app.
On my
on the website.
Yeah,
okay. I usually browse on my phone with.
Oh, I don't do any browsing.
One of the third-party apps.
I just go when I need answers. But
I follow some subreddits for some games I like and some shows like Severance and stuff, which we'll talk about later.
One of my friends is
real quick. You said the quality was bad, and I wanted to talk about that too with Netflix. Like you paid $30 or whatever, and it's still compressed.
Yeah, it's compressed to shit.
It's so compressed, and it's just, and then like. The football game they showed on Christmas, I think it was a much better as far as stability of what was going on. But
that
boxing match,
it was crazy.
Yeah,
the boxing match is still going to be a stain. I don't know. People probably have forgotten about it, but
yeah,
that was terrible.
We don't forget. Yeah. So anyway, so I canceled it. And when they give you like the little bit of like, they give you that little chat box, like, hey, why are you canceling? Let us know. I wrote, quote,
let them know.
Oh, I did. I wrote, quote, fuck you, you predatory capitalist pigs. So I hope somebody reads it.
A naysayer, no.
Is it predatory? Is Netflix predatory? I don't think so.
No, they are. It's predatory when
people pay for the service though. Like,
because
it's not like,
Can you stop biting me? The reason I think it's predatory is because they know that they hold all the cards. Yeah. And that, like, I don't know, they just have a huge market share for that sort of thing. And I honestly think a lot of these, we've talked about this before, subscriptions, I think they get away with it on the fact that most people just pay bills and they don't really know what they're paying for or how much they're paying. Like they know they have Netflix, for sure. But how many times, like, I don't know. I mean, my dad definitely looks at every fucking cent he spends a month. I fucking don't. I just fucking pay my bills. We've talked about it. So in that sense, I do think they're predatory, but whatever.
I mean, in that case, everything is there's subscription apps that tell you how many subscriptions you have. So like,
but also
it's insane now.
There's also no correlation to like quality versus their price increases, right? Like it's not like you're getting like better quality. It's not like you're getting zero compression. It's not like you're getting cached content, right? Imagine if they did that. Why couldn't they do that? I know places that do it, more. And you do too, Marvin, right? So it's like, why
couldn't to their bottom line?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like they could be offering better things. Their original stuff is dog shit most of the time. So it's like,
oh yeah, Apple is shitting on everyone as far as original content.
But, yeah, absolutely. And even there's,
Netflix had Stranger Things. Netflix had,
but
what else?
Right, they're few and far between. Is the point?
Yeah.
But yeah, so big life change, boys. I was a little sad because like I've had Netflix for a really long time. I was like I'm one of the first people I feel like to adopt it. Back in the day when it first came on Xbox, that shit was huge when you first started streaming, and they had this like theater feature where you could like share what you're watching with other people. It was so good. Oh my god, such good memories with Netflix. But they decided to fucking ruin it.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Welcome back, folks, to the Harsh Language Podcast. This is episode 119. I've been saying it wrong for the last 3 weeks, by the way. I've kept saying the episode number like one behind of what we actually were at.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I hate to see it.
We're at 118, right?
No, right. Today is 119.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't even know like at what point I faltered, but at some point I put it in my notes that I look at here that it was like the wrong episode, like one behind, and I just kept following it for weeks. So anytime I was doing the thumbnail and the title, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is going on right now? So last week I had to like drill back to like the last 5 episodes to just see if I was correct. But we're good.
I wonder why I'm looking at
somebody 7 years from now is going to watch this video and notice it and say something in the comments. Shout out to that guy.
That'd be funny. What were you saying, Marvin?
I'm looking at the channel right now, and when you type in the name of the show, it comes up with 117 as like the thumbnail of the playlist for the podcast. So that's weird that it's not showing number 118.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. But yeah, we're right now. And we got a good one today, folks. This is Make Marvin Watch Day. Marvin's watching Happy Gilmore for the first time. So that'll be later on in the episode. Stick around for that. We got some stuff to cover. Dusty, did you finally finish Silo or what?
I did. Yeah.
Nice. Let's get into that. Let's talk about that. What a good episode. Might be one of the best finales of a TV show I've seen, period, I think. And I don't think that's like hyperbolic to say. I think they did a really good job. Somebody I know, one of my friends who's also watching it, she kind of felt like the season dragged a little bit in some aspects. And I was kind of like, I didn't feel that at all. I thought all the slow moments were like character building and like world building moments. Yes. But I thought this last episode, like they really fucking went out with a bang. What did you guys think, Marvin?
Yeah, it was, the transition at the end was great. I feel like the whole build up to this what do they call it? This safeguard thing, right? That that we kept hinting at in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was like just really just had you like on the edge of your seat for the entire episode. I felt like.
Yeah. Well, really since the penultimate episode where what's his name, the new Shadow actually like meets the AI or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that was like a sick fucking cliffhanger too, because you're like, oh fuck, like what is actually going on here?
Right.
What about you, Dusty? Overall thoughts?
Yeah, a good episode. I like where they left it. Plenty of room to go forward. We already have the news of where they're going for the next season, so looking forward to that. But yeah, it's a pretty good cliffhanger, pretty good story so far.
It's an annoying cliffhanger for sure. I mean, I guess that's what a cliffhanger is, though. So
I didn't think it was that annoying. You were like bothered by it?
I mean, they fucking. So Juliet comes back to the main silo finally after a season, a whole season of being away from it, which is fine. It was all good.
She learned a lot.
Yeah.
And we got to meet our boy.
Solo.
Yeah. Solo.
The head of IT, he finds out from Lucas something, basically that if
he tells
whenever they want to,
protocol,
they could. Yeah, the safeguard. Basically, whenever they want to, whoever's running this thing in the shadows can just kill them whenever they want.
With gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bernard, the head of IT, just fucking, he loses all hope. He's over
the pipe
it.
just lets in air from outside, right? That's what
I think.
It's actually poison.
Yeah, no, it's
specifically poison.
Well, they say poison, but I think Dusty's right because simultaneously Juliet finds out with Solo, he had some information that his parents were aware of this, and I think she reads the schematics, and you see the pipe going to outside.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, because the air is poisonous. So if they need to reset, they just pump in air from the outside. They don't have like gas in another chamber that they have to pump through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make it a little more difficult to maintain.
This raises some interesting questions because
real quick, you didn't let me finish the cliffhanger, because we see Juliet going back into the silo. Bernard's leaving, and when they try to go back in, we know that there's a safeguard there, which basically burns and
like a decontamination system.
Decontamination, yeah. So they get burned, or what we think they get burned. Juliet has on a fire suit though, but that's
you assume one of them lives and one of them dies is kind of where that's where I took it is.
Well,
I think they both live. Juliet jumped on top of him, so she's protecting him with the fire suit, which
maybe he dies and she becomes the new head of IT.
There's no more IT after that.
You don't think so?
There's no more. Nah, it's fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I was actually really surprised they waited until the last episode for all the tensions to erupt, but I'm glad they did it that way, because a whole season of just like riots and shit might have gotten a little tiring.
I do want to bring up, it was a little bit jarring. It was about a little bit after halfway through the season. I think it was maybe 6 or 7 when it swaps to us finding out about the algorithm, basically.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it felt like it was a bit of a jump almost. Like from one episode to the next, it was like, did I miss an episode? Like it was a little bit jarring. I can't remember the exact turn, but it was like episode 6 or 7. It was either like 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, one of those.
After
and that threw me off a little bit.
After Lucas talked to the AI?
It was before Lucas. Wait, I'm trying to think. No, it was before Lucas talked to the AI. It was like basically the introduction of the algorithm.
Gotcha.
When they like shot the rocket up, it was
okay.
a bunch of stuff happening, and I was like, this kind of just came to a head without much buildup. So it was a little bit jarring to see for me.
So the big twist raises some interesting questions, especially, well, not the big twist, but the AI specifically raises some interesting questions because, and I understand where what's his name's coming from, Tim Robbins, Bernard, because like they're all told like this very specific set of rules, and the first season and a lot of this season, they lead you to believe that like Bernard is like this like deep state like CIA fucking Illuminati operative kind of guy, like pulling the strings and everything like that for control.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, and I'm not saying this to be like, I knew it all along. I never thought that was what his aim was. I always believed that he was like truly doing what he thought was best for the livelihood of everybody in the silo. Yeah. Obviously, he was going about it in like weird politician and like murderous ways at times, but I do think he always had like the benefit of the silo in his head when he did all these things. And that's why he's so fucking upset, is because he was also lied to by everything, by history and like all he's supposed to do. The only thing that he had access to that everybody else didn't is just the relics. And he knew about like sort of the history of what had happened. I don't think he knows even what like happened. I think he just knows that like there was an old world and we're the new world and we have to stay in here. So this is like a complete...
I mean, if you were paying attention, I don't see how you couldn't come to that conclusion, honestly. Like,
yeah, I think they did a decent job of like kind of painting him out to just be like a
guy.
At
first for sure, yeah. But once you see more, and you're like, this guy is just being misled, same way like the fucking,
everybody's a pawn.
Yeah. So before we talk about the big twist of the season, I just want to go through a couple of points. So another thing was the whole thing with Walker that was so obviously like a big ruse. I never thought that she would actually turn her back on them. I was almost fooled for a minute, but it turned out I was right. And then, turns out she knew.
Yeah.
That what's his name knew that she was like the traitor, and they were like pulling this whole big thing. So they telegraphed that pretty obviously, I thought. I thought Jules's father sacrificing himself was a big moment, because that's, she was like going back to see her dad. Like she specifically talks about her dad. So, that
was a great plan by them to get everyone down there and then to just blow the stairs up and just disconnect it entirely. Yeah. Like that was awesome.
It's almost as like, I actually thought about this. I wonder if Dusty did as well. But it almost felt like if like the silo version of like a secession, like seceding from like the United States or something like that. Like they just cut themselves off entirely. It was kind of funny.
It's not, and then it's a pretty standard protocol. If you want to, I mean, you go up into the mountains when shit hits the fan, and you'll find a lot of blown up bridges because people don't want people down in the in the flat hills coming up to survive.
She also gave one hell of a resistance speech. I was expecting fucking Luigi to fucking poke his head out. That shit was fucking fire. So I'm curious to see where the status of the silo is, because if Bernard is dead, let's just say, somebody's gonna carry the torch. Probably fucking Common.
Well, no, it's not Common. Because remember, The algorithm specifically wanted his wife.
Right, but I think so the reason I think that is because I think his wife is more. Well, I guess maybe you're right.
You gotta think his wife showed that she's willing to work with the people from down deep, and Common's character never was willing to work with them. So
well, that's what I'm saying.
I think the algorithm has already decided, like he's already put two and two together, like she's a better fit.
Well, right, but that's why I could see him taking over Bernard's spot. He like really diehard believes in like the cause and like the pact and like all that shit. She, I think, was chosen by the algorithm because she was able to win over the hearts of the down deepers.
Yeah. I think that's what matters going forward. I don't think this pact nonsense, like the secret's out. I mean, Lucas, we saw him tell Bernard, but like,
well, nobody knows about that except for Lucas, really.
I mean, yeah, as far as what we saw, yeah.
Almost none of that really matters. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it does in the storyline for us, but like for them, they already know it's not safe to go outside. So that kind of quashes the whole like uprising. They're not telling us the truth. We saw the flash of green. Obviously, they're going to have to get the story of, well, that was like them displaying something that's not actually there.
Yeah, I mean,
well, before they were about to go outside, if you remember.
That's what I was just going to say. They know
the Civil War. The only reason they didn't go outside was because Juliet showed up coming back over the hill.
Which that shit was so hyped. That was like fucking Endgame shit on your left. She comes over that hill. That was good. But that's what I was going to say. Like they know that it's unsafe outside, but it seems that the life cycle of these silos is such that like you keep people jarred up for so long. They don't give a fuck what's outside. They just want to go. That's what we're starting to see is that doesn't matter what they're being told, that eventually they will want to go outside. And that's why the contingency is in place of like gassing them all and fucking starting fresh, because ultimately, and I think it speaks to like who we are as human beings. I was actually talking to my aunt about this. It's like, the show actually has made me emotional quite a few times when they are all discovering what life was like in the past outside of the silos, when they see birds and trees and stuff like that, because as we know, nature is beautiful, and it's like an inherent part of being human. Like we aren't just like in nature, we are nature, we're a part of it, we are like we are 100% tied to it, we are it. So like it's like the human instinct to want to be a part of it. So when they see all these things and it's super inspiring, like eventually it's just, I think the natural fate of the populace of these silos is that they're going to want to try to go outside no matter what. Even if you're told, we've seen it countless times now with the sheriff, the original sheriff, his wife, Juliet, like all these people, like it doesn't matter what they're told. They just want it. They eventually want to go outside. The question is though, why the algorithm wants to keep everybody inside. Now that I think is the more interesting question.
Right. And it's not really I mean, there's no really gas them and start fresh. How do you start fresh? You got a silo full of dead people. You bring in a whole bunch of babies and you say you're the first.
Maybe they have embryos laying around. Who knows?
Why would you need to wipe them all out? If they're going to go outside, just let them go outside and die.
That's what I'm saying. It raises...
There's a lot of unanswered questions of, what's the man behind the curtain really like? Why would you wipe them all out? Because you can't start fresh. Who are you going to send in a group of people to?
Well, keep in mind, we already know that they do a lot of birth control. What's to say that they don't harvest fucking embryos and all this shit for like life, you know? There's a lot of questions that this raises now. Like you just said, why don't they want them to go outside? You would think that if they were like, oh, we have like a fucking resistant population, fuck it, go outside, have fun. Like, why would they want to keep them in so bad? There's a lot of interesting questions now that this raises.
Yeah.
So
we may or may not get answers to. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of story in the silo in the second season. It sounds like mostly going to be the prequel stuff.
Yeah, so let's get into the big twist. So the episode wraps up with, or the season wraps up rather, with a flashback to what looks like sometime in our modern day, like 2024-ish, 2025. And Maybe it's like the near future in our timeline because they got some like weird techie shit that we don't have. And there's a congressman who's showing up to a bar to meet a woman, and he gets scanned for radiation before he goes in by the bouncer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two have a conversation. That was what's her name from Iron Fist, by the way. I don't know if you recognized her, Dusty.
Oh, I haven't seen Iron Fist.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was her. Anyway, so they have a conversation, and they're supposed to be there on like a date or what he thinks is a first date, but turns out she's there with a purpose, and she's like a journalist or something, and she starts questioning him, and the conversation reveals that there was a dirty bomb attack on the U.S. by Iran. And a dirty bomb, for those of you that don't know, is a bomb with radioactive material attached to it. It's not like a nuke. It's just it's a regular bomb, but it has like a just radiation like within it or attached to it to sort of like poison bullshit or whatever. That's what I read anyway. So Iran attacks the U.S., but the woman is specifically asking the congressman if the U.S. plans to retaliate. And he doesn't really quite answer her, but he leaves her a little parting gift that he picked up from the convenience store on his way over, which was the fucking relic, the Pez dispenser.
That's right.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
That was great.
And that's a wrap.
Yeah. There's a couple of things in there, too. I think there was a newspaper clipping showing someone walking their dog with the like radiation suit on, essentially. Like,
yeah. So it seems like we're getting a bit of a fallout situation.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
But
she didn't. So she thinks, or I don't think it was confirmed if it was a dirty bomb, right? Like there was like some hints of it being some type of test gone wrong by the U.S. and they're trying to blame Iran for it as a dirty bomb. There's a little bit of that in there too. So,
and that was also my first instinct because, you know, we all know how the United States operates in real life.
Oliver Stone.
And so, but it was also too clean. I was like, there's no way the show's going to just do like propaganda like this. Like, because there's like current real life tensions with Iran.
Right.
And there has been. And like now that Trump's in office again, like he's going to start posturing to like every fucking leader around the world. So it's like, I just didn't think the writers would like purposefully like stoke that to its viewers and be like, Iran's actually real bad. They're gunning for us.
Yeah.
So I kind of assumed that was the case. But yes, it seems like the United States is behind whatever happened. Or maybe not the United States. Maybe just like some fucking secret Illuminati group or whatever. And now their fucking consciousness has been uploaded into this AI. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery and I'm here for it. I love this type of shit. Yeah, these are my favorite types of shows where you just like left guessing. My only concern and hope, it's not really a concern because it's based on books, but like the show Lost. I never watched it. My buddies loved it. But as it was on, I had watched it a couple times hanging out with them, just episodes here and there. And I always said to them, like, yo, this show has no direction. This is going nowhere. They're like writing this as they go. They're just flying by the seam of their pants. And it turned out that was the case. And so I just hope that this show does not do that. I don't think it is because, again, it's based on source material. But
yeah, I actually might read the books.
I thought about it, too.
Because there's only 3 books, right? Apparently there's 3 books, and then there's like several short stories, and he's working on a 4th book. And I don't know when we're gonna get this 3rd season now, so I'm like, you know.
I know Apple's so here's the question: do you want to really ruin the show for yourself? I would probably wait until it's over at this point.
I don't mind because of how long I would have to wait. That's the thing.
Maybe it won't be that long.
It's not going to ruin it because I can still enjoy. I mean, it's like the same thing with Expanse, right? Like,
yeah, but The Expanse was different because it jumped fucking networks and this and that.
Yeah,
you know, we waited a long time for Severance, but Severance, you know, there was a writer's strike in between seasons and all sorts of stuff. Silo's got smooth sailing. I mean, if they're probably writing it already, if not almost done. They would just start shooting. There's no reason why it couldn't come out just the next year, you know?
Yeah, but I also wanted to see the differences with
the
books and what we've seen so far.
So maybe you just read up to where we're at in the show. That might be a good strategy.
Because, I mean, it could take me a little bit,
Yeah, I would consider reading them, too. I bet you they're really good.
I mean,
again, the finale was excellent. It's an excellent show. It's probably my favorite show on TV right now, other than Severance. I can't wait for more. I guess there's like you said, just an all-out global nuclear war. I like first thing in my head was like some Skynet shit where like the robots turned on us and like wiped away humanity or whatever. But I'm really super interested to like what Dusty said. Like why? Like what's the point of keeping people in? It doesn't make sense. Like if you know what I mean.
I think it's aliens.
You think it's aliens?
Aliens got people in silos because they were ruining the planet, and you don't get to go out anymore because you can't be trusted.
So you don't think
natural resources.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think the greenery outside was real, or do you think the world is really devastated?
Well, we saw Juliet actually go out. So you're saying was her visor still somehow like corrupted in some way where what she saw was also like gray?
Yeah, well, if because you just said that aliens would be protecting the Earth from us, right? Keeping us in the silos. That would have to mean that the outside is actually lush and livable and beautiful, and they don't want us.
No. I don't think it is.
It's just a punishment. You never get to come outside again.
That's what I think it is. Okay. Yes, like
you fucked
we're
up.
going to try to restore this planet that you destroyed.
Okay.
So have fun in the silo, and if you come out with fucking poisoning you with fucking toxic gas,
that could be interesting. Actually, interesting. I think it's more of like a Matrix situation.
Plausible.
Like we're batteries for the AI. Basically.
Yes.
But we're not in pods. I don't know. We'll see.
Keep the generator running.
It is a fantastic show, though. I really do like it.
It was the best part was Lucas going to the connector tunnel, and the AI is even aware of what's going on down there.
Yeah, but it knew him. It like knew who he was. Like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This AI, it's first of all, I guarantee you, it's connected to all the silos.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
has to be.
And I guarantee you, Solo's parents found out about it and like destroyed the silo to shut it down so that it couldn't like spy on them anymore or whatever. So that's my theory.
I can see it.
And you know, it's such a layered story because they got you wondering what happened to the world outside, but also caring about these people in the silos. Like it's very well done. Like,
yeah,
it's almost telling two stories that are intertwined, not necessarily directly connected, but certainly intertwined. And it's like, it's cool that they give you space to like mentally focus on and care about like both things at the same time. Like it's very well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about with this final episode?
Nope.
No,
just can't wait. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to talk about, which was the performances of everyone, including Common. I feel like Common is actually starting to become a good actor. At least in that last episode, he was really good.
Yeah, I kind of thought about it too, because like, so I had made the joke that like he's kind of just the same in everything.
Yeah.
And I do stand by that. But I kind of also feel like that's the way his character's supposed to be in this show.
Yeah.
Conveniently, and that maybe just
conveniently, yeah. He's just typecast as the
yeah, maybe that's why they casted him, because like he is so
serious and like
he's so in line with authority that like that's just what he would be. But yeah, well, you're right. He did kind of break out of that a little bit
because he was showing emotion, like he was getting all bent out of shape. When he saw it's because he saw Bernard broken down. It was like
he looked up to Bernard like legitimately. That's why I don't think they're bad people. Like they do bad things 100%, but all 100%. The time we see bad stuff happen with the right intentions. You know, it's just so that's why the show is so interesting. That's why, you know, a show. I always bring it up, but like Breaking Bad is interesting. It's like a very layered character that makes you question your own morality. Like Walter White, you know, because you root for this guy for like 2-3 seasons, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, he's the bad guy. So I don't know. It's just it's a really good way to like write shit, and a very high bar that these types of shows set. And so
one complaint I have about this, because I watched this back to back with Severance, and it's not a complaint about the writing or anything, or the story. It's actually some of the visuals, which is like. The clarity around some of these dark scenes is just not up to par, I feel like.
You know, it's funny.
The color is off a bit when it's some of these dark scenes. But when I watched Severance, I was like, this is how you do some of these dark scenes. Like the dark scenes were like night and day between the two shows.
I kind of joked around with somebody who's also watching it, and she told me, she's like, the show's so dark. I was like, really? I was like, I was like, the fuck kind of TV are you watching it on? So we kind of like
I usually watch on my I got the HDR TV now, so
you got them deep blacks.
Yeah, so it's like it's a little weird. It's not
a little dark. It's a little dark.
It's a little dark though. It's giving me vibes of that one episode of Game of Thrones in the final season that got everyone upset because it was so dark. It wasn't that bad, but I was like,
okay, that's fair criticism.
They need to light these for normal TVs, not these like $10,000 editing monitors or whatever they're using.
Yeah, right. Any final thoughts from you, Dusty?
No, I was just gonna say I think season 1 came out middle of the year, around summertime or spring, and then season 2 we obviously just got at the end of the year, so like 18 months later. So we could potentially get one at the end of this year, or where it's going to be the end of this year, or it's going to be next spring before we see season 3.
Jesus.
Remember, there's no strikes or pandemics or anything now, so
right,
it should be smooth sailing.
They could already be in full blown production on the next season.
But yeah, folks, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and maybe theories on Silo season 2. No spoilers for season 3. We don't want to know where the story's going. Just give us your theories. Matter of fact, don't say it. No, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. We hope you liked it. Leave a like on the video and all that good stuff. Next thing we all watched this week.
Big one. My
Severance.
favorite.
Now, Severance is operating on a completely different playing field than anything else in television right now. It just is. The writing, acting,
the glaze.
The writing, the acting, the cinematography, the world building, all of it, every detail. And
he's right.
Season 2, episode 2 is their best yet, I thought. Just what a wow.
Of the entire show?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just a wow episode. He goes, he's right. I'll explain why. Let me tell you, some of the shots in this episode like blew me away. Like the wide shot of her walking through the hallway in the beginning, Helly walking through the glass hallway, and you just see like, some of the other characters in the background. The scene of Bert at the fucking phone booth. That was this show again. I can't describe it any better than the show is just on a whole nother level. And yeah, Dusty doesn't look convinced, but I don't care what Dusty thinks. It's
no, it's a good show. I don't think it's the greatest thing that we've seen, but yeah.
So let's get into episode 2. So basically, this episode was essentially a retelling of episode 1, just from the outside perspective, which I thought was really awesome because
it was great. Yeah.
This is the first time I think we spent an entire episode outside of the silo. Outside of the silo. Outside of the office.
Similar.
Severance floor, yeah.
Right? Am I mistaken there?
Was the entire episode outside of it?
Yeah. Except for the end, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I can't remember, but I think you're right.
Well, anyway, so this episode opens up. Helena's basically Darth Vader. She is like fucking just no, she's an evil bitch. Like it's actually awesome that they're doing this because you like Hellier in the severed Helly. So it's awesome that that her Audi is like the complete opposite of her. Very, very interesting.
Can we say now that I was right with my theory? Like it's pretty obvious now that
of course. Well,
they
not yet, but
they disabled her. They disabled the switch some way or another. I don't think it's permanent, but
no.
If you remember the admin room, there was all kinds of switches and code names there with different buttons, and we have no clue what the other ones are. We just know the overtime.
Yeah.
But I think she's a fucking industry plant spy.
Yeah.
Making sure that there's not another coup.
I think so.
From the fucking innies.
But so we got listen, I know we're not the only channel here on YouTube or wherever the fuck you might be listening talking about Severance or coming up with theories. So I know we're not the only ones that think this shit. But
of course, yeah. It's like when you think you're about to tweet something new, and it's like, oh no, there's 8 people that tweeted this already.
Yeah,
nothing's new anymore.
We're definitely right about Helly, I think, but it hasn't been fully confirmed yet. But I was also right. I just want to say I didn't see anybody else point this out. That Mark S is the thing.
Oh yes,
like they are 100% hyper focused on him and him alone, because we learn in this episode that he is the key to finishing whatever the fuck Cold Harbor is. And we see Cold Harbor on the monitor in
his wife
previous episode, which is something to do with his wife.
Yes.
Some crazy shit's going on, and I called it. I just want to throw that out there. You heard it here
I think it's more so about his wife than him.
Yes.
But
100%.
whatever they're doing with his wife, obviously they need
and
him.
I think
he's the closest to her.
I'm going to take it a step further too. I think his sister knows about it. And I think
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But hear me out. I think she was paid off to keep whatever happened from him, and she's trying to subtly get him to fucking try to look into it.
I don't think so, because she was the one pressing the issue about Gemma being alive, and he was like, no, I saw her fucking dead body, and
that's what I'm saying.
All this shit.
That's what I'm trying to say. She knows that something is aloof because she was paid off to cover it up or whatever, but she wants him to find out the truth. So to keep herself protected, but she's trying to like lead him towards being interested in investigating it. That's what I think. I may be wrong, but
interesting.
But hang on, let's.
If it's gonna be a twist like that, I'd say the brother-in-law would be the guy that.
Well, I think the both of them, yeah, because he's trying to be this fucking writer, and he's a nerd. Nobody likes that guy.
The Ennies love him, which is hilarious. And
the brother-in-law?
The Ennies love the brother-in-law.
His book. Yeah, his book.
Yeah. They look up to him. He's like a god to them.
Yeah.
Especially
which is weird.
Derek or whatever.
So, all right. So let's go back a little bit. So this episode, it opens up and we get to see Helena's perspective after they sever her from Heliar. And we see the cleanup and the aftermath, that the corporate retelling of what happened. And again, of course, we were right that they covered this all up to the public and whatever. She put out
it was obvious. Yeah.
She put out like a stupid fucking thing saying like, oh, I was drinking and like I was just fucking around and I didn't realize how my actions would affect my company and how many people rely on the company and all this stuff.
Non-lumen drug.
Yeah. So to the public, like it was just like a dumb thing. And of course they lied to Mark S inside, as we suspected, that it was like, you're heroes and all this other stuff.
So silly.
Yeah. So we get that. But the episode really paints Helena as like a fucking villain. Like she like only cares about the company, only cares about whatever. Her dad, he comes in and calls her a fetid swine or whatever he calls it.
Fetid moppet.
Yeah. So he's some sort of like ruthless dictator. It's a very
that's why I think she's kind of like a victim.
You think so?
Because just think about all the powerful parents that make their kids do shit that they don't want to do, like
that's fair,
and make them get jobs that they don't want to do. Run this company because I built it up for you. Like
that's fair.
So I think she's gonna break out from that shell, and she's gonna be one of the heroes. She's probably gonna have the biggest like turnaround, probably as far as the villains in the show.
I could see that at the end of the episode, as predicted by Dusty. She was looking at the footage of Heliar interacting with Mark.
Yep.
And she's studying it almost as if to figure out how she could play Heliar properly and pretend to be Heliar. The interesting part, though, is that she almost forms a tear when she sees them sort of hugging and kissing and like being emotionally attached to each other.
Enamored by the thought of an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. And she cracks a little bit of a smile when Helly comes back and says, "Just in case we don't make it, or in case we do." So you might be right, Marvin. Maybe she's like, having a connection with somebody might be a nice thing for a change.
Yeah, exactly.
So do we think there's going to be a world where the Audis just... So I take back what I just said. Fuck that. I had a big conversation with my aunt about it because I have her watch the show, and she's a little dim sometimes. No, I'm kidding. She has trouble following like shows like this that are like, because it is a complex. There's a lot going on. It's hard for her to like keep.
It's a lot.
She's
16, you have to be really invested.
Yeah, she's
and like want to learn more about it to really get it. I think
she's 69 years old. So we had a big long conversation the other night. She didn't really quite grasp the concept of two separate individuals with different desires, different personalities, different people in one body. She couldn't get it. She couldn't quite grasp it. So I had to talk to her for like an hour of being like, no, these are two different people. And she was like, well, fuck what the innies want. She's like, if the Audis made the decision. And I was like, how could you say that?
Ellie.
It's another person.
Elena.
It's like if you had a child and just threw them away and said, fuck them, like whatever. Like you have to look at it like that. And I was like, that's why it's such a moral complexity in the world of the show. So she finally understood it.
Yeah.
But this episode did a really good job, I thought, of explaining it the way I did to her, because at one point, when Mr. Milkshake was going around convincing all of them to come back and whatnot, he says to Mark, can you live with the thought, your innie, what did he say? He's like, your innie shouldn't suffer. Would you really want to, he said something like, would you really want your innie to suffer or suffer non-existence because of your decision?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was fucking deep, because that is the consequence of everything that happened.
It was deep, but it was like,
but he was manipulative.
It's all a ploy. Like,
no, I know that, but I'm saying he raised the point that I was trying to make to my aunt of that, like, if you just quit your job, you're killing your innie. It's another person. It's another human being. So yeah.
I mean, they mentioned that several times. Like,
of course,
even in the first episode when Irv's about to leave, and Dylan's like, no, you can't leave because you quit. That's it.
That's it.
And speaking of the two different like souls and basically like two different psyches in one, when they do the severed, like, the crazy thing that is still a little bit unclear to me is first season, the whole reintegration thing. I was talking to one of my coworkers about this episode, and we started talking about it, and it doesn't really make sense what he was trying to accomplish by reintegrating.
Remind me.
If you think about it, PD, the first season, PD tries to reintegrate. PD quits his friend. PD.
He was trying to get back in touch with he was trying to, like, basically, wasn't he trying to separate from his innie because he was having like fucking.
No, he was trying to remerge.
He was trying to. I think my theory is he was trying to, because he was trying to figure out and shut Luma down.
I think Dusty's right.
So,
he was trying to merge both lives at the same time, and it was fucking with his brain. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So because they didn't take his chip out, which you would think they would take his chip out when he quit or when he was fired or whatever happened.
Yep.
But like they didn't give it's kind of just blurry. Like they didn't give enough, and they kind of just glossed over it a bit as far as like that whole reintegration thing. Because the doctor from the first season, the one that does I guess she like short circuits the chip or something like this, right?
Yep.
And this is what when he's trying to get more information so he can figure out more of what goes down there to take them down. Is that his whole goal, I guess?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's not very clear. It doesn't really make sense what his goal was.
I suspect we'll find out. This show is too precise and too clean so far to have little plot holes like that, in my opinion.
Well, I think the problem with it is we're not going to get to understand it because we were seeing it from his perspective, and his perspective was so disjointed because he was trying to integrate two different people.
Yeah.
And so he didn't even really know where he was or what he was doing half the time.
Right.
And so we didn't really get a good glimpse of, like, we know he was drawing the map and he had some ideas, but he just kept confusing himself.
Yeah.
But it's weird to me that they never took the chip out until he died. So it's like they they want him to have some type of brain aneurysm or something when he quits. Like,
I sort of took it as the fact, because I'm trying to think back to, because I didn't rewatch season 1. I'm trying to think back to like the way I was thinking about it at the time. I think I had taken it as they can't take it out because it would cause what's happening to him, because like the chip rewires your brain, right? And I think I kind of just assumed it's like a permanent rewiring, that if you remove like this other consciousness from you entirely, like it's just gonna you're just gonna fucking fry. Like it has to exist in you now at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On some level, like it has to exist in your subconscious or whatever.
Yeah, I hope they revisit.
I think they will, because I think,
as well as the doctor chick.
I think they will.
That helped him kill the main security guard and all that. Like,
I mean, I think
that never came back around. But
I think we're getting to a point where we're gonna just see these two people. Like, I think all these characters are gonna be working together with each other to figure out what's going on. Like the innies and the outies are gonna have like a mutual sort of understanding of what's going on, because this episode focuses a lot on the outies, as we know. Mark, we knew, was doing this to separate from the death of his wife. Like he, Milkshake says to him, do you remember what you said to me the first day you came? That you felt haunted by, you were choking on the ghost of your dead wife or whatever he says.
Right.
And so like,
yeah, but then you got to ask yourself, was that like, did they fake his wife's death to get him into that state, to get him to come to work because they knew they needed him to be a severed guy?
That is an absolute possibility, but I'm just saying, so yes, 100%. And I'm glad you brought it up, but I'm just saying that like each person had a motivation for signing up for the severed program.
Allegedly had their own motivation.
They thought, at least they think they had their own motivation. That was his. Dylan obviously is just trying to make ends meet for his family.
Yep.
Now that he gets fired for his innie's uprising, and he's like, fuck, what am I going to tell my wife? Like I got to find another job, which was a really funny scene when he goes to the door company and like the dude was like so about like doors. He's like, what kind of door would you be if you were a door? And they just have this like deep conversation about doors.
Yeah.
It was very, very funny. So I love when this show adds like a layer of comedy, because it's like always very, very funny to me.
Yeah.
Very dry, but also very funny. Very, very deadpan. Irving, we still don't really know his motivation for doing it, but he's like pretty suspicious of what's going on in there.
I feel like there might, because Irving has a military background, I feel like there might have been some severance experiments or something in military, kind of like,
or maybe he was just trying to get rid of some trauma that he has from his service or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's possible, but I mean, it's kind of like Jacob's Ladder, where they give you the drug to go crazy.
Oh, maybe.
It's like,
it's a lot of
you sever this person and you could just train them to be like a straight up killer, and it wouldn't affect other real person.
That's your second Jacob's Ladder reference in 2 weeks. I'm really glad that movie has stuck with you so much.
Well, I also had a reference about like Petey. I forgot when I was talking about Petey's reintegration earlier. It's like a Get Out type of thing where like, if I was thinking like, if he didn't do the short circuit thing where he's trying to reintegrate, like what if the innie like breaks out of the the thing, and like he's trying to fight to be the person is it's crazy. I hope they revisit that for sure.
I think they will. We get the return of Harmony, and we find out that she was doing things apparently the company was not happy with. She allowed the uprising to happen, like not allowed it, but like it was on her watch basically.
But in her fairness, she tried to warn them.
She did. Yep. But
said Harmony?
Yeah, Harmony Cobell, Miss Cobell.
Oh, Cobell. I was like, I've never heard her called the Harmony before.
We still are left with the question of what she was doing with Audi Mark. Why was she living next door to him? Why was she spying on him? Why was she a lactation assistant for his sister? Like, what was that all about? Clearly, the company was like a little bit taken back by it as well. But we find out that they're going to put her in like a new role as like, I don't even remember what they said she was going to be doing, but it was something
She's going
ridiculous.
to the train station. That's not a real role.
That's what I think. I think she's going to the train station too. That's a Yellowstone
dead.
reference for those of you that don't watch it. She's going to die. Yeah.
For sure. Like, I thought they were going to do it right there when the big fucking meathead guy came in with Helena.
And he was also spying on Mark, which is why I think his sister knows some shit, because he was like, oh, she's a little bit more uppity than he is.
Oh, yeah.
So, so a couple little things I noticed too, little Easter eggs maybe. Mr. Milkshake at one point, he drives away. He goes to each house. First, he goes around firing the 3 coworkers for their innie's behavior. Later on in the episode, Mark throws his tantrum, and they go back to rehire them because they need Mark to stay on board, as we predicted. Yeah. So,
well, they only fired 2, and then Heliar was the spy.
So as he drives away, we see his license plate. It says Remedium Hominibus. And on it is the head of Kier, like his head. And it's not a state license plate. In the first season, I remembered that Mark's license plate says the same thing. Remedium Hominibus. It's actually Latin for cure for men. I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also Dusty's right. They do live in like this...
there's a theory that
it's almost like a reservation or military base.
They got their own territory.
Yeah, like it's separate.
Lumen has a because if you look at some of the mail, there's like it says PE.
Yeah,
which is not a state acronym.
It sure is not. So Dusty mentioned that for episode 1, so I thought that was interesting. There's another really weird moment in the show too that really confused me. I rewound it like 3 times because I didn't know if that's what I heard, and I don't understand it, and I want to know what you guys thought. At one point, we're back at Mark's sister's house after the party from the finale of season 1, and his brother-in-law is like escorting a guest out, and the guest says, "Don't punish the baby. This wasn't its fault." What the fuck does that mean? And why would he punish the baby?
She's just not right, I think. You talking about that? Her name is Rebecca, and she's the one that had like the scabs on her head and all the weird stuff from last season. Was? Yeah, she's not well, so you can't take anything she says.
But if she has scabs on her, does that mean she's trying to like dig out a chip that might be in her brain?
It's possible.
That could be.
She's just
When Milkshake showed up at the door, he's like, fucking Robeck, goddamn, like forgot something or needed something and handed the baby off. So yeah, it's like a
because it was so weird. Don't punish the baby. This wasn't its fault. And he goes, don't worry, we won't, or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what kind of world are we living in here? So that was something that stood out to me. We get a small hint about Mark S.'s wife, which I thought was interesting. Might not mean anything, but might come back around. When he's at the diner with his sister and she's trying to convince him to look into it further, they briefly mention the fact that it seems like she was burnt in whatever happened to her, whether it be a car accident or something. Because he says, I identified the body, and then I think he doubles back and is like, was if your husband was burnt up or whatever he said, something along those lines. So that's the first time we get like a little bit of a hint of what happened to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
We also find out that it actually wasn't 5 months. It was literally the fucking weekend that this all took place, which I thought was funny.
Hilarious.
Because the innies just have no concept of time or space. And yeah, I mean, Mark S.
Well, they wouldn't, right? Because it's just like lights on, lights off for them.
So that pretty much covers the episode. I honestly thought everything combined, cinematography, all this stuff, I thought it was the best episode yet of the whole show. So what's going on there, Dusty? You're not really too sold on it? Like, what are your gripes?
No, it's a good show. I'm enjoying it. It's just not I don't know.
You're not blown away by it.
I'm not, it's not blowing my mind. I mean, this is...
What would push you over that edge, you think?
I don't know. I'd have to see it to know. I mean...
What about it is like not bringing you there? Is it just because it's a little slow and methodical?
I mean, I enjoy the cinematography, but I think sometimes it's a little overdone. Like I understand the world they're trying to build. They just keep going back like the long hallways and the long walks.
It's very cold and like benign.
Wasted. Yeah. And I don't know.
Okay.
It's all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I don't know.
All right. But you do like it though.
Yes, no, it's a great show. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's just not. I don't think this isn't the best thing that I've ever seen. I don't know if I'd put it up there as the top 10 shows ever. I'm gonna have to finish the whole thing before I make any sort of determination.
No, that's
but right now. It's not blowing my mind. It's like, yeah, this is one of my favorite shows ever.
Okay,
it's not up there for me.
All right,
it's great.
I don't think we watched the same show.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I think this is like
I'm a big
easily,
Ben Stiller fan. I think he's great. He's done great stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is like easily top 10, probably higher once it's all done. But even right now, this is like easily like top 10 for me.
A little bit of speculation. So do you guys have any inkling? I mean, I guess we covered it a little bit, but Cold Harbor, like obviously it's some thing surrounding his wife, right?
Yeah.
And they need him in there to like they specifically need him. They say it. We need him to finish Cold Harbor. So do whatever you have to do to keep him working for us. Like, what could it be?
The only thing
I don't know, because we don't even know what the numbers do or what they're actually doing there. We just know they're
collecting numbers.
They're finding numbers that they're afraid of, and they're dumping them in a basket.
It's numbers that make them like feel uneasy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Dumping them in a basket. That's literally what they're doing. What are you gonna say, Marvin?
The only thing I had said last episode was that she's like in a coma. She's still alive and in a coma. So her severed side is, I don't know. I did see an interesting theory though. Someone thinks that she's a clone.
I saw that too, actually, and that the little girl from episode 1 is the clone. Is what I saw. Yeah.
No, they were, from what I saw, they think that the one that was doing the wellness is the clone, and they're trying to essentially use Mark to give her old personality, her being back via this
consciousness.
This new clone.
Interesting.
So. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw one that the little girl's her clone, and like just growing up, because they're both Asian.
Wow. Yeah.
Of Asian descent, I should say. Yeah, I don't know. It's super interesting. I'm curious. It would make sense to me if there was like because obviously the company's up to some crazy shit. Cloning would maybe be that thing, because like in real life, like we clone shit all the time, organs now and shit. But like we haven't quite taken like the moral leap to clone human beings, as far as we know. But
right.
But to what end? Like what would be the goal there? I don't know. There's always got to be a point to the thing. But either way, the show's got me hooked. 2 episodes in. I'm very excited to see where it goes. Anything else you guys wanted to mention about this episode? This episode was so good. Just visually. It was like visually stunning to me. Everything. The lighting, the shots, all of it.
Yeah, I love that Irv's, Innie and Audi are both like really smart.
Yeah.
Because the Innie was onto Heli R's bullshit right away.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, a gardener at night? And it's like, what kind of gardener is at night? And then his Audi is like smart enough to not let Milchick know that he was up to anything.
Well, I think he's less severed than we think. I think he's more in line with Petey, maybe not as far advanced as Petey was, or maybe he's doing it in a different way, like a more like a Zen approach with like meditation and like maybe lack of sleep, because you mentioned that he's keeping Innie, Irv, like sleep deprived and stuff. Yeah. So I think he's maybe a little bit less severed than we think.
It's possible. He's also just older than everyone, so he's gotten a little smarter. And I think.
Oh, and he's right. Bert too. Bert was spying on him, which means Bert recognizes him on some level.
We didn't even talk about Bert showing up to spy on
that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but you got to think, Irv showed up at his house in the middle of the night banging on the.
That is true. Forgot about that.
We didn't see the fallout from that, but I mean, you assume that he shows up like, what the fuck are you doing banging on my
Who the fuck are you?
Door.
True.
But I think Irv has just got. I think it's a couple of things. So Irv, he's one of the older severed employees, so
could be older technology.
He gets smarter. The more you're awake, the smarter you get. but you also, I think you just tapped into like stuff that your
innie self
outie knows.
Oh, your
like
outie
your
knows,
innie
yeah.
taps into stuff your outie knows. Just
well,
it's kind of like riding a bike. Like you're not gonna forget like things, right?
Well,
like,
let's just say this, right? What if the natural progression of whatever they're doing, maybe this is new, like, right, in the world of this show. Maybe this is like a newer technology. It would make sense if
I think so, yeah.
It would make sense because like the world is clearly, there's varying degrees of people who are accepting of it. We know that the guy at the door place was like, fuck you, severed people. If you want to make your brain...
Severed... Oh, you're talking about that. I thought you were talking about
if you want to make your brain... if you want to circumcise your brain, that's on you, but I don't have to do... But I think it's disgusting or whatever, right? So that would tell me that this is like fairly new in the world of the show. That people, like the public is dealing with it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's fairly new to the public because, as far as we know, like the midwife, mom, whatever was going through it, unbeknownst.
Like what I'm saying is like, so okay, let's just say, you know, yes, rich people were doing it forever. Well, not forever, but I'm just saying, what if the technology is like fairly new-ish to the point where like Lumen doesn't even know like the long-term effects of it or repercussions. Sure. So what if there's a world where the natural evolution of being severed is that the two personalities do combine at one point, and maybe Petey just accelerated it by doing whatever he was doing, so his brain fucking fried. Maybe with Irving, it's like happening naturally over the course of time.
Yeah. I think that could be the case.
Yeah, there's like...
We also don't know if Lumen... It's a fucking chip in your head. Like they could have been like slowly killing Petey for all we know with this fucking chip. Like
it could be like the fucking Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller has the fucking the neck rings around it. They just blast their heads off when they step out of line. There's literally 100 different directions that they could take it. So I'm fully on board for whatever they do. I'm like super like locked in. I want to know.
I'm locked in, and I can't read any books about this, so I don't have a choice.
You gotta just
to be locked
sit
in.
with it. And read
but I mean, they already confirmed season 3, right? So
yes.
How many seasons do we think Severance goes for?
I could see it going 4 or 5. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
don't go past 5.
And we do. Real last thing I'll say is we do get a little bit more of information on the new people that were in episode 1, and I assume they'll be back. Well, I don't assume. I know they will. I'm looking at IMDb. They're all credited with 10 episodes. But so
spoilers.
Sorry. Mark Wilkins, he gets fired. He's like, this is outrageous. I gave up a lease in fucking
I broke a lease in Grand Rapids. Yeah.
So we know it's not in Michigan at least. Well, maybe it's in Michigan, but not Grand Rapids at least. Gwendolyn, she's like sort of dumb because they mentioned that they came from another branch, and they say the branch name as if something fucking happened there. That was bad.
You know, that's the chick from Blink Twice.
Yeah, she's in
but we watched that kind of recently.
So yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She was in Arrested Development.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That's unbelievable. But yeah, so great episode. Can't wait for episode 3.
Yes.
Leave a comment, folks. Let us know what your thoughts and theories are on Severance season 2. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Anything
also, folks, don't be misinformed. These drop on Thursday nights. Even though it says Friday, these do drop at like 9 p.m. on Thursday nights. So.
Ooh, Marvin with the PSA. Good.
That's right.
That deserves a like on the video. I'm sorry. If you don't leave a like on this, that's crazy.
Yeah. Even the premiere came out like 9 p.m. and everyone thought it was going to be Friday, but it came out on 9 p.m. on Thursday.
Well, before we get into the news, I just want to say, if you've been watching this long, consider subscribing to the channel. We would really appreciate it if you're enjoying the content. It is the best way to support us, as you know, Marvin.
I do know.
So, leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn the notifications on. We got a lot more movies to cover, and we don't want you to miss out. So, all right, on with the news. Dusty, what you got for us this week?
Well, we got the Academy Award nominations. Those came out.
Yeah.
Looks like Emilia Perez led the show with 13 nominations, while The Brutalist and Wicked got 10 each. So if we're going to watch the movies that got the most nominations, those are the three.
I will not be watching Emilia Perez because I've heard it's just absolutely terrible. And I also confirmed it from people that aren't like transphobes and bigots. So the movie has a lot of like real the whole this whole Oscar season is like rife with controversy, which doesn't surprise me because it's 2025. But this movie, as far as I understand, it's about a cartel leader who hires a lawyer to help fake her death so that she could have gender affirming surgery.
The wife of a cartel leader trying to escape the cartel, right? I think it's like
it's based on a true story?
Cartel.
I have no idea if it's based on a true story or not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's fucking.
There
sick.
might be some truth
cool.
to it because I think it's the wife of a cartel leader. She's trying to get out of the game and escape her husband. And
my girl Zoe.
Maybe I'm completely wrong on that. Yeah.
Love me some Zoe.
The lioness, but yeah.
It might be the wife. But hang on. So it's got controversy because like everybody's saying how bad the movie is. Now, I don't know if it's bad because people hate trans people or if it's actually bad. I have heard from some people who, like I said, are not hateful scumbags that said it was genuinely terrible. But the whole controversy is that this movie is just like trouncing everything else in terms of nominations. And everybody's like, wait, what? Like there were really fucking good movies this year. Like, how is this just going to clean house? Might be a little bit of action. Some DEI shit going on. I don't know.
I'm just looking at this. Looks like the weakest Oscars that I've seen since we've started doing this show.
Really? You think so?
God damn, I've seen one of these movies.
The Sun. What are they doing? There's the Dylan movie got 10 nominations too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it got 10. It got.
I thought it did.
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't have those numbers in front of me.
There was another controversy too. Is that Denis Villeneuve was fucking snubbed for Dune 2?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't snubbed. The movie got 5 nominations after being shut out of the Golden Globes. But it's up for Best Picture.
Yeah. But he's not getting.
He didn't get Best Director, and it's funny because Josh Brolin he threatened to quit acting. He's like, "This is better than the first one. What the fuck is wrong with you people? I'll quit acting if he doesn't get it." He didn't even get nominated. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Out. Yeah. So we get the nominations. Anyhow,
that is in February, right? No, March. March is the Oscars.
Yeah, sorry. Coming up soon.
Yep, sure is.
This is a funny one. Brandon Sanderson is a well-known fantasy author. He doesn't think streaming is ready for epic fantasy.
That's crazy because
he goes into a tear. He's known for the Cosmere universe, which is he did the Mistborn series and the Stormlight Archive.
I've literally never even heard of that.
Best-selling fantasy novels. But he says in an interview with Polygon, he says, "We haven't really seen great epic fantasy film television since the nearly mid-season of Game of Thrones," is what he's saying. And then he goes on, $50 million per episode has not done it, so it's not a matter of the money they're throwing at it. He's not happy with all the shit that's been coming out. And we've been complaining about it a lot too.
Sure have.
But when asked about if he would do one of his own stories, he said, "I would absolutely pick Stormlight, and I would do it on one of the streaming services with an unlimited budget and unlimited creative control. And I think it'd make something really cool, but who knows?"
Unlimited budget.
Yeah, I mean, The Ring of Power essentially had that, and it's not very good. Right. It's fine.
I've heard such mixed things. I got to watch that show.
He says it's fine, but is it the thing that you really want? I mean, I really think the key member of that visionary filmmaker, epic fantasy has responded poorly to too much oversight from above. I think The Witchers has the problem, you know? You had a visionary, it was Henry Cavill, and they didn't want to listen to him, so there you go. So he's really just, he's shitting on all these shitty fantasies that we're shitting on because they don't take the literature or the source material or the fans very seriously, and they throw together some shit.
Right.
And so he's not too happy with the high fantasy stuff that the streaming platforms have been putting out.
I don't blame him.
Fantasy. See, that's like one thing I could never get into, high fantasy.
Well, listen, Marvin, I hate to tell you something.
Beyond me.
But you're inching closer and closer for us making you watch Lord of the Rings. So,
well, yeah,
God,
I mean,
better prep. And if you don't like Lord of the Rings, like that's the end of the podcast. I'm just telling you now. We'll end it with that. Marvin watched Lord of the Rings for the first time, did not like it.
Hated it.
Have a good life, everybody.
And that'll be the video that blows us up.
Yeah, right. we just disappear. Yeah. All right. Well, what else? What else you got this week?
Fans had some backlash for Jeff Trammell's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man over the last few weeks. We got the trailer for it a little while back, but he did an interview with Tech Radar, and he was asked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because some fans were like, "Why would you draw Superman or Spider-Man like this? It's dumb." He said, "We wanted to set the show apart from other Spider-Man animated shows. Regardless of how you feel about the show, you have to admit there's nothing that looks like it. There's no Spider-Man that looks like our Spider-Man. And I think it's important to have one that's ours and that feels unique and very much of its own thing. So we really wanted to find something that set us apart from everything else."
Which one is it? This black and white one or the top? Top one.
The top one.
Top one.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than...
It's like he's wearing a
kind
jersey.
of mishmash of the old Spider-Man show with the Spider-Verse type stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's that
Why don't
bad.
people like this?
People don't like anything.
They don't like change.
Dude, you go on Twitter.
His advice was just give it a try. Like, sit through it and watch it. You may not like the way it looks right off the bat, but...
What's this called? Spider-Man?
That's right.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, you go... Marvin, you don't understand. Do you even go on Twitter, Marvin, anymore or no?
Yeah, I go on Twitter.
Are you like part of like the film Twitter space at all? Like,
no, absolutely not.
Like if
only when I get on our account, yeah.
Yeah, if anything gets announced whatsoever, it is just completely dogged on by everybody and like just everybody who thinks they have like an opinion that is important or valid or whatever. People just want to shit on things. I have a piece here. If you don't mind me moving past this, are you done with this particular piece?
Yeah, go ahead.
In similar fashion, we got even you shit on this, Marvin. Fucking, I'm not free from it anyway.
I was just joking. I was just joking. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, say it.
I was just so what Dan is referring to is the new Superman trailer where we get the zoom in of Superman's face and he's flying, his hair is rippling. So when I first saw this, I saw a low shit quality of it on Twitter, which everyone probably saw because Twitter is shit, dog shit.
Yep.
But when I watched this on like YouTube, where you actually get 4K, much better quality, it looks fine. Like his eye looks a little wonky, but it's like not nearly as bad as what I thought.
Well, so
people have been shitting on it, like saying like all this crazy shit.
We got a little brief teaser for Superman again. There's nothing different from the first teaser. It's literally all the same footage except for 2 shots. One of which is this less than 1 single second shot of Superman flying. And it's first you get an over the back shot and then he barrel rolls and then you get this front facing thing. And this is what it looks like. And it looks fine.
It looks fine, yeah.
People are fucking shitting on that it doesn't look like him, that it's fucking what's the Uncanny Valley, the CGI is bad, this is bad. That's
the
not
CGI is not bad.
Superman's,
I don't know what they're seeing.
Superman's skin and hair would be unaffected by the speed at which he's traveling because he's not a human. I have read the most insanely idiotic fucking things about this. And then James Gunn tweeted today, he's like, that's not CGI. His face is real. This is just the guy's fucking face.
Yeah.
And it turned out that the way they're filming a lot of this movie, and we knew this from the shot of him punching through the glass, he's using a wide-angle lens. And when a wide-angle lens is pushed up against somebody like this, it distorts the perspective of his face. It almost looks like you're having a GoPro strapped to your face, like the way YouTubers do it and stuff. That's what's going on here. It's him. Now, I can understand there have been some complaints where it looks emotionless and this, that, and the other thing. He looks locked the fuck in.
Right.
It's a trailer, guys. It's a teaser. This has no indication of the quality of the movie or the CGI or anything. Like, everybody needs to fucking just shut the hell up. I'm so sick of the internet already.
So what's this about? His hair shouldn't move. Is that like a thing?
Well, because he's Superman, so his skin is like impenetrable, so it wouldn't like ripple and like fucking his hair wouldn't be going. And it's like, dude, stick your head out of a fucking window going at Mach speeds. What do you think's gonna happen? And if you actually watch the thing, not like to be a nerd about it for a second, if you watch it, his face really isn't moving. So even if that is an argument that you think is valid, like then it shows him not really being that affected by it. Because any human skin flying through Antarctica at Mach speeds, your flesh would be removed from the bones.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I get what if his hair is not supposed to move. I mean, I guess
there's no precedence
for
that.
What's the rule there?
There is no rule.
Is that part of the lore?
No. It's just people. Look at.
I think it looks better when his hair moves, which I'm sure they think the same. I'm sure they thought about it and like it looks a lot better with his hair rippling and shit.
I think it looks fantastic. Please go full screen.
Same thing, like like when he saves the girl here in a second, his hair moves there too, but like it looks better.
Yeah, I mean it's not really that big of a deal. Like this is. Oh,
like, that looks sick.
I know it looks fucking incredible.
I mean, I don't know.
It looks amazing. Everybody's just.
If his hair wasn't moving, then you would get complaints like, "Oh man, that looks so fake."
Yeah, what is this hair made of plastic? So, anyhow, what else you got for us, Dusty?
Okay.
Oh,
well,
I have one other piece. If we're sticking on comic books, because I just see what you got. Let me just deal with that real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So since we're talking about comic book stuff, it's not a big deal. It's just, well, it is kind of a big deal. I just read two things this week. One is that the Russo brothers have reportedly signed on with a new deal. Did you have this in your piece or no? Am I stepping on your toes?
That was in the misc at the top that we could have touched on. Yeah, that was from internet scooper Daniel Rickman.
Yeah. So apparently the Russo brothers have signed a new deal with Marvel. They will oversee multiple new upcoming projects, including the X-Men. Now, I think this is a good idea. Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, not a good idea. This is a good idea. The Russo brothers have made the best Marvel movies to date, including arguably the best Marvel movie to date, which is Winter Soldier. They know this shit. They know how to do good shit. If I was Feige and Marvel, I would pay these guys and the writers of Endgame all the money in my bank account to just stay on the Marvel projects. Maybe just the bigger ones, but these guys know their shit.
So the Russo brothers did Endgame too, right?
Yep.
And Winter Soldier. So you think Winter Soldier is better than Endgame?
Endgame, I don't count because it's like the culmination of everything. It's a very good movie, and I think it's great. But in just terms of singular, like Endgame works because of the 22
Everything
films
else.
that came before.
Yeah.
Just on its own, Winter Soldier is without question, I think, the best Marvel movie yet. Like Winter Soldier, I think, is like Dark Knight level good. To where if you just took Marvel out of it, it's just a great like spy thriller.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. So, these guys know their shit, and apparently they've always wanted to work on X-Men. So it's just like it'll be a passion project for them, and that'll be great. And then one other thing I had, and this is from Games Radar. Apparently they reported it. This has me a little bit nervous. Not gonna lie to you, boys. So Daredevil Born Again showrunner Dario Scardapani, I don't even know how to fucking say that. The show has a lot less nasal gazing than before. Quote, the earlier show at its best was fantastic. At its worst, it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I felt that had been done. I'm not taking swipes. I just didn't want to hear characters grousing about their lot in life. So he's saying that there's a lot of talking in the original Daredevil series. I think he's specifically referring to the few episodes between Punisher and Daredevil, Frank and Matt, which, to my estimation, and I think to the larger audience, are the best episodes of that entire series because it's two people with incredibly different ideologies, basically hashing it out. It's Matt, who's religious, saying like, all life is precious, everybody deserves a second chance. And it's the fucking Punisher saying, these motherfuckers need to be put down. They are of no value to society. And if given the chance, they'll do it again. And your justice system and your legal system doesn't work. And that's where I show up. You don't get better than that. So the fact that
but then he struggles with it again in season 3, where he gets beat up and he's contemplating not even doing it anymore. And I mean, but I can see how it is a lot of internalizing and self-reflection about what is a hero.
I mean,
through all 3 seasons.
I feel like that's the hero's journey. Is that?
Yes.
Is Daredevil a human or?
Yeah, he just has superhuman abilities. What do you mean?
Okay, there we go.
He had some chemicals built on him as a child. Went blind.
I mean,
because he has second sight.
Because this is reminding me of the whole Snyder thing with their complaints or their. It reminds me of the Snyder thing with Superman, where they're like, we want to see the darker Superman, not the whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, Daredevil is dark. I think what this guy's saying, like at face value, is that the first series had too much talking. That's what I don't know.
Weird.
Maybe I'm mischaracterizing it, but that's what it sounds like to me. But like I just said, like the fucking gif, like it is the hero's journey of like reflection and like, what am I doing in this world? Like it's happened to Superman. We see it's going to happen in the Superman movie. People throwing cans at his head. Like despite what he does for humanity and despite him being a beacon of hope and light, like people still fucking hate him. Like that's inherently part of being a hero. So I don't know. I don't really know what he went. Maybe the quote was just stupid or something. I don't know. But it has me a little bit worried now because I was looking forward to this, and I still am, but anyhow. All right, Dusty, back to what you got for us.
All right. Well, Deadline has some new info on the upcoming Sam Raimi horror film. Dylan O'Brien, the guy from Caddo Lake that we talked about, and Rachel McAdams, fan favorite.
Yeah.
Apparently, this film is a survival horror thriller about 2 colleagues, O'Brien and McAdams, who become stranded on a deserted island. Sorry, the only survivors of a plane crash. Yeah. On the island, they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. But ultimately, it's a battle of wills and wits to make it out alive.
Okay.
This says Damian Shannon and Mark Swift, who did Freddy vs. Jason and Friday the 13th, 2009. They wrote the screenplay for this. So Sam Raimi catching up with some old buddies because, as we talked about before, they almost did a Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash.
Did not come to be, unfortunately.
Damn.
So
that would have been so crazy.
Some old pen pals he's getting together with. So still really looking forward to this. This movie. I don't know if we have a name for it or a release date or anything else, but yeah.
Hey, I'm
That's
always
cool. The Caddo
down.
Lake guy was good, so I'm excited to see him in this.
Yeah, he was also in.
And obviously Rachel McAdams.
He was also in that recent Jason Reitman movie that's supposedly really good, Saturday Night, which is about the behind the scenes Saturday Night Live stuff. And it's like early days.
He played one of the Ghostbusters. Holy shit.
Dan Aykroyd?
Damn. Yes, he played Aykroyd. In
you need some ginkgo, bro.
Documentary.
Oh shit, Rachel McAdams. That's Mean Girls. Oh fuck.
Yep, that's Mean Girls.
Damn.
Morning Glory.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay.
So, all right, what else you got? Is that it for the news?
No, we got one more piece here. Robert Eggers.
Oh,
we talked about him. Dan's a big fan, and
sure am.
It's funny because Dan hates period pieces, and this is really all this guy does.
I told you,
crazy how that works.
I've explained this multiple times.
No, we
don't want to hear it.
We don't want to hear
it. He will never do a current piece, is what he said. He says the idea of having to photograph a car makes me ill, and the idea of photographing a cell phone is just death. And to make a contemporary story, you have to photograph a cell phone. It's just how life is. So no, I won't be making any modern set films.
Listen, he could do whatever he wants and whatever time he wants because he makes banger ass movies. Okay.
True.
Yeah. Well,
the day he starts slipping is when I'll start criticizing his period pieces.
He's going to be writing and directing the Labyrinth sequel for TriStar Pictures.
I saw that, yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I mean, I guess that's a good alley for him because there's no cars or cell phones in that flick.
Are we doing Nosferatu next month? We are, right?
Yeah, we're doing it next week, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and he got 4 nominations for Nosferatu. I don't think directing was one of them. I think it was like cinematography and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the most nominations he's got for a film. So if you want to see what we have to say about that, we'll talk about it next week. But no segue for the news this week because we still don't have any news. There hasn't been any news in a couple weeks on this. But yeah, that's all the news we have.
All right, Dusty, thank you once again for the news, folks. Once again, please consider dropping a like on the video if you've watched this far through. It's the best way to support the show is to subscribe, and it's the best way to get latest updates and know when a new episode drops. We just said next week we're watching Nosferatu, so if you want to be notified when that episode comes out, they come out every Tuesday at 6 a.m, but if you want to get a little notification, hit that bell button, leave us subscribe and leave a like on the videos. Helps us out greatly. So let's get into today's film. So in perhaps one of the most shocking revelations here on the Harsh Language podcast, Marvin had never seen Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And
so, a lot of Adam Sandler,
is that shocking at
Happy
this point?
Gilmore, yeah.
This one's pretty shocking. Because, so today...
Is this even his biggest movie?
Yeah, that's why it's shocking. So...
Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
This is Marvin's first time watching Happy Gilmore. And yes, it is probably considered his... It's probably the movie he's known
this or
the
Billy
most
Madison.
Billy Madison.
I think this over Billy Madison. I mean, look, out of all his films, he's a very recognized person. He's obviously has a lot of movies that people feel a certain way about. Adam Sandler doesn't get a lot of love for some reason. I don't know why. I said it a couple weeks ago on the show that, like, I really appreciate him as like a person who makes art for us because everything he makes, at the very least, feels genuine. It feels like he's trying to make something that he thinks people will have fun with because he himself has fun with it. A lot of the times it's him just getting together with his buddies. And I love that. Not to go too far off the rails, one of my favorite bands of all time is a punk band called The Descendants. They started making music in the fucking late 70s, early 80s. They lived on couches wherever they could lay their head, on floors. They rented a studio that they lived in because they didn't have money for anything else. Like, they just struggled for their whole careers. Now they're in their 50s and 60s. They're older men. They're one of the biggest, most influential punk bands of all time. They have a record label. They make money. They do well for themselves. And they're all old guys. And and every so often they get back together, make a record, do some shows. The lead singer, Milo, he's a fucking chemist or some shit. He's a scientist. So throughout the course of their career, he always would just like take hiatuses from the band to just go do science. And there's just something to be respected about that. And Adam Sandler does kind of a similar thing. Like, he doesn't work too often, but when he does, it's just him and his buddies just like having fun. And I do appreciate that. And I love all his movies, for good or bad. Like, some of them are silly and stupid, but I have fun and they always make me laugh. And so all that said, I do think out of all his films, Happy Gilmore is probably the one he's known the most for. It's probably the most recognizable. It's certainly the most quoted and quotable, I would say. But let's get into it, Marvin. What'd you think watching it for your first time?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It felt just like this era of Adam Sandler to me. So
yeah,
it was a very easy watch.
Yeah, this is peak Adam Sandler doing all the yabadoo voices and
this
like
is
all
Adam
that shit.
Sandler in his like stride, knowing what he's having fun with, knowing what jokes work, knowing how to keep the audience laughing.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good for me as some of the others that I've seen, like Little Nicky and Billy Madison. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
In terms of ridiculous comedy, I think this is probably the most realistic one of them all. Like Billy Madison, like a kid going back to school is kind of like a guy, an adult man going back to school is kind of weird, which is a funny narrative about like how rich people could just do whatever the fuck they want. Little Nicky, obviously, Yeah. But this one is like, you could see like a fucking ramshackle kind of like bum.
I see similarities.
Being able to like just be good at golf, It could be realistic.
Yeah.
This was directed by
a golfer. I'm a hockey player.
Yeah. This was directed by Dennis Dugan, who works with Sandler often. Sometimes he's in the movies. He directs a lot of them. And has again, one of the most notable casts of an Adam Sandler movie, specifically Christopher McDonald as Shooter McGavin. Shooter. Like, very iconic character. Probably more, like, honestly, probably one of the more, like, iconic characters, like, just in the history of film in general, is Shooter McGavin. So this is like...
You should follow him on X. It's a hilarious Twitter account.
Is it? Shooter McGavin?
Yeah, Shooter MGavin has been on X for a long time. Just
that's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Making the greatest post ever.
This movie, of course, has Bob Barker and some of those, that famous quoted line is, the price is wrong, bitch. So there are like parts of this movie that are like literally ingrained into the culture of humanity at this point, which is why I say it's probably his most notable movie. Now I love Billy.
Piece of shit like you for breakfast.
Yeah, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
Put that in one of his songs.
Did he actually? See, so that's how big the movie is. If you got Kanye writing lyrics, I knew about that shit.
Lyric before I seen this movie.
What's the lyric? It's just I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
And then he's like, "You eat pieces of shit," and then he goes into like, "Yeah,
okay."
I forgot the song actually, but
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so this came out in 1996, and like Dusty said, this was like during like, it's kind of like his stride to like stardom. Like he had come off of Saturday Night Live, and I don't actually know, was he still in Saturday Night Live at this point?
I don't know. I don't think he was, no, because I think he left around the time Farley left, and Farley was gone after this, I think.
Yeah, I think Farley was probably
Farley died.
I think he was probably dead by then.
He was in
he probably would have
Billy
been in
Madison.
This. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he would have been in this.
Dusty, what do you?
I found the song, but
what's it called?
Jesus Walks. It's from.
That's a great song. Yeah.
That's the Jesus Walks, right?
Yeah,
I didn't even.
Great song.
I know that. I mean, I don't listen to him.
That lyrics in there.
Real quick, cast though.
Yeah.
So his grandma. Did you recognize her, Dan?
Frances Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize her because I've seen her, and she's been in a ton of shit over the years.
But something specific, something very specific. You're looking. I'm looking at your screen.
I'm looking through her thing, but I don't.
I'm just kidding.
None of it is standing out to me to see what you might be talking about.
She was in an episode of The X-Files.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Season 2. It was the episode where it's like a nursing home, and it's like they're haunted by some older people.
Yeah, she's the couple. It was in the mansion, not the nurses. Not it was that's like the Christmas episode.
Is it
right? Oh, you know what? No, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah,
this one.
I'm thinking this is a Exodus Day.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something else.
Good episode too.
There's like a Christmas special that is really fucking good. It's one of my favorite episodes.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Okay. Well,
no spoilers.
I won't. Mulder and Scully get locked in a haunted mansion. That's all I'll say.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Dude, that fucking meathead. That's another look. That guy, the
Richard
one where he
Kiel?
knocked the. Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah. So Dusty, give
7-2.
Give some of your thoughts on this movie.
Am I still centered?
Yeah,
I
you're
just
good.
kicked the camera. Okay. I mean, it's just peak Sandler. Yeah, I don't know what. There's not a whole lot to say. It's a star-studded cast. It's funny from beginning to end. Like you said, some of the most famous one-liners and catchliners of all time. This is one of my favorite comedies of all time. So, just great all around. You can't go wrong with this movie. Highly recommend. A must watch. I watch it pretty frequently, at least once a year.
Yeah.
I watched it probably about a month ago, and then I watched it again because I knew we were coming up to review it. So,
okay.
I love this film.
That Bob Barker fight scene was so funny. Good Lord.
It actually won an MTV Movie Award for Best Fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like, they did such a good job with that because it was like played out like a hockey fight kind of, like, which is funny. It's just like a small little detail because he's like an aspiring hockey player. For those of you that don't know, I can't imagine there's anybody on earth other than Marvin who doesn't know the plot of this movie, but it's Happy Gilmore he's the title character. He dreams of becoming an ice hockey player, but despite his very powerful slap shot, he can't skate. He has a short temper, and he's just overall pretty bad at hockey. So his grandmother ends up owing the IRS $270,000 in back taxes, so she gets her house repossessed, and he accidentally finds out that he has a really, really good golf swing. Well, not swing, but just he has a very powerful shot because of his hockey shot, and he decides to start entering in like golf tournaments to win back the money to pay back her house. And that's pretty much the plot of the movie. And Happy.
I love how the IRS is a villain in this movie.
Hey, they're a villain in real life.
Yeah, that's why Trump's getting rid of them, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah, let's go. Golden age of America's back, baby.
Oh man.
I watched this like on. It was like some 4K remaster or something.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
It was like, I think it was like 4K, like AI 4K.
Oh, they
however they
upscaled
do it. They upscale.
I hate
But
that
it was
shit.
like, it was so weird. It was a bunch of jittery stuff going on.
You can't be watching that type of shit.
It was like, especially when they were showing the scenes of like the fast shots of the ball, and it's like going and going. It's like a bunch of weird shit going on.
They did some funny stuff with the camera work on that back, because they're like the ball flying, it shows the same shot like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I think it like when they were remastering it, something must have fucked up with the AI or something, because it was like so bad.
As you could imagine, the movie has a cult following in the golf community. Golf.com and Golf Digest praised the film, predominantly Shooter McGavin. The Happy Gilmore swing, which is, of course, him walking and like running towards the ball, is imitated or attempted for fun.
Anybody who's ever played golf has tried that golf swing.
Correct.
That's funny.
And as anybody who has played golf knows, that is like the exact opposite of what a good golf swing is. In fact,
yes.
In fact, the less power you give it, the better the shot generally in golf. Yeah, the more power.
It was funny that Shooter was trying to imitate it.
Yeah.
In the second half, like once he saw how good Happy was doing, he tried to imitate it and he just missed completely.
What are some standout moments for you, Marvin? Do you have like a favorite scene or anything, or favorite one-liner? Because there's a lot of them.
Favorite one-liner is definitely the you pieces of shit.
Yeah, you pieces of shit for
sure. Yeah, that one for sure.
What about for you, Dusty?
Stand out. I mean, the one-liners, I could go on and on all day. You're gonna die, clown.
Oh yeah.
That was great. Just playing. I don't know. I mean, this is one of the greater sports parodies as well. I was trying to think of some, like Talladega Nights has got to be up there as far as sports parodies go. But
actually, Adam Sandler has another good one. The Longest Yard. That shit's hilarious.
Yes. Also a good one. But yeah, just I think him and Chubbs, their interactions.
Oh man,
him and Carl Weathers. Those were great. You give that shit up and you play golf. You're okay. If I had to wear pants like that, I'd kick my own ass.
I
don't know. I can't find anything wrong with it. Even the stupid stuff like pushing the air conditioner out the window and falling on the I think I killed the Mista lady. Like, dude, it's just that the comedy is so brilliant.
The Ben Stiller stuff is actually so funny in this movie.
Oh my god!
At the nursing home. Now, now there's an internet theory that he's actually
before I put you to sleep.
The same character from Dodgeball.
It looks it's the same mustache. Just dyed differently, right?
Yeah, this is a pretty prominent internet theory.
And also, from what's the weight camp movie that he was in?
Yes,
like he went on a
heavyweights.
Heavyweights.
Yeah. So here it is on Reddit. Now I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this, but I've seen this before. So Ben Stiller played the same character in all 3 movies. So like Dusty just said, it's basically like he was the shitty trainer in heavyweights, the camp counselor. Then he moved on to, I think, what would it be? The nursing home attendant, right? And then I I'm trying to think of the time frame for when they came out, and then in Dodgeball. But so White Goodman is the owner of Globo Gym, which is the fancy gym that threatens to put the average Joe's gym out of business. Ben Stiller plays White, and then Happy Gilmore Hal L is the orderly. So basically, the theory is just like a fun theory that they just play. It's the same character, just in like different stages of life. Which might be,
you got to keep the hustle going. You got to make that bread. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which it might be true because I think the connection between Heavyweights and Dodgeball is actually stronger than this one. I think this one was just like added for fun, but
right.
These two have like direct connections because he was like, I think in Heavyweights he's like trying to like I think impress his dad. I'd have to rewatch that movie.
He's trying, he just took over the gym and he's trying to get this gym to go global. And he said if he can turn around like a fat camp, then
yes,
will believe him and invest in him. So,
yeah. So I think those two have.
It's a great movie too. I love that movie.
It's very funny. And then of course, talking about the late Carl Weathers, he's also a reoccurring character in Adam Sandler. Marvin, you should remember Chubbs from Little Nicky.
Yeah.
Because he's the angel in heaven teaching his mom how to play the piano. So now you get the connection.
Damn, yeah.
Because that was Chubbs. You see his hands, he's all in the hips. All in the hips. Oh, he was teaching her to dance. He was her dancing.
Oh, okay,
right.
Yeah.
I said piano because he's playing piano in this. Yeah, great movie overall. I think it's probably one of the best comedies probably ever made, I would imagine. I mean,
it's up there.
Again,
sure.
I don't have anything real bad to say about it. I don't have anything bad to say about it, to be honest. It even did quite well in theaters when it came out. I think it made it made $41 million worldwide on like a $12 million budget. So like, you don't get much better than that.
A lot of money in the 90s. Yeah.
And
sure.
I said it recently too. I don't know if you guys remember when I watched Ricky Stenicki. I watched it casually by myself, and I said how, like, it almost felt like going home after a long time, like watching a comedy from back in the early 2000s, because comedies like this don't exist anymore. Yes, of course we get comedies, but they're not like this anymore. Like there was once a time where it was like okay to be silly and stupid and just like have fun. And movies like this are kind of few and far between. So that's why when like an Adam Sandler movie comes out, like I get super excited. Like I heard about Happy Gilmore 2. I wasn't like, oh, this is another fucking movie that doesn't need a sequel. They're just cashing in. I'm just like, nope. It's just going to be Sandler fucking getting together with his friends again, making a movie and having fun.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, they're his friends, but they're all big name actors.
No,
like, how much money
Absolutely.
do you think is David Spade demanding like high amounts of money? Because there was a news piece I left out, like Red Note, that Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds movie. There was an article about how that had like an operating budget of like.
Is that Red Note?
Yeah, Red Note.
I'm confusing it with Red One. Yeah.
Yeah. Where the operating cost was like 200 million, and 80 million of that was salary just for those three names.
Right.
And if it's the only reason that they haven't made a sequel is because that would probably balloon to $100 million, and they'd have a $250 million budget just because three people. So when he makes these movies like this, and he's got 17 fucking people in them, like is it just because they're friends? I mean, how is he getting the rates and everybody else is charging, premiums, I guess.
If I had to guess, I don't think when he makes a movie, it's his production company. It's like everything's like sort of in-house. And I really do feel like it's just like, oh, we have an idea for a thing, like call everybody up.
Yep.
Yeah, because like, you look at a movie like Hubie Halloween. I think that was like one of his last like Sandler movies that came out. Which
Or even the one with the parents that go on vacation. What the fuck was that one? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. You're confusing me. But his last movie was Murder Mystery 2. That and it got like kind of shit on. And yeah, okay, it wasn't as good as the first one, which I love the first one. And I like the second one too. But Hubie Halloween was probably his last like actual Adam Sandler, like straight up Sandler movie. he plays like a fucking nitwit fucking guy who loves Halloween and like all this in a Halloween town. Even she.
Oh, it's the same chick.
Yep, Julie Bowen. She comes back. You got Kevin James in it. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, he makes a movie and you're getting Tim Meadows, Rob Schneider, fuck Rob Schneider, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi's probably going to be in it. Like,
Tim Meadows is so funny.
Like, look at this cast: Shaq, Ben Stiller. Like, these people come out to just be in a Sandler movie. Grown-Ups is a great
Kevin
example
James,
too.
Chris Rock, Shaq was in there.
Yeah, all friends. So that's just why, you know, I don't know. I think that's great. I don't know. I just think he's a cool guy. I would like want to hang out with him in his fucking basketball shorts and shit. Look at how he shows up to like a fucking like press thing for, you know, Murder Mystery 2. He's just always in like a sweat.
There's like a short sound. Like he was on a talk show and they were talking about all like the clothes and stuff he wears, and they pulled up a picture of the last time he was on the show, and he's wearing the same fucking like polo pink shirt that he was wearing the last time he was on the show. It was Ellen. He was on Ellen, and she's like, "You wore that shirt last time you were here." He's like, "Yeah, I love it. It's comfortable."
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Happy Gilmore 2 is coming soon. When is it coming out? Expected 2025. There's no date yet.
Yeah, there's no date. There's no news. I wanted to segue. I was hoping we'd finally have a release date or like a
Speaking of Hal
trailer, but yeah.
He's coming back. This fucking ridiculous.
I wonder if he's still going to be working at the
I don't know. We'll see.
Place or if it's something different.
We'll see. That
of course, he's a Bruins fan too. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, obviously, Shooter McGavin's coming back.
Oh,
Shooter.
I mean, he stays in the Shooter McGavin character ever since this movie. I don't think he's ever done anything else.
No, I mean that's what's
typecast himself.
Well, but that's what's funny about the character. But he was always that. Like he always plays a piece of shit. I don't know that I've seen Christopher McDonald in a movie where he doesn't play a bad guy, piece of shit. I honestly couldn't think of one.
Damn.
Oh, he was probably in some Wii Channel movie where he's.
That's right, and he was the golfer in Beverly Hills Cop 4. Axel F. Remember? We pointed it out. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't like he wasn't actually Shooter McGavin. He was just playing a golfer. But
now I get the Easter egg though. Yeah.
Marvin, you're gonna get so many references now because you just leveled up. This is like a good level up. You just found like a relic weapon in fucking Witcher or something.
Right.
Let's go.
But yeah, classic movie. I'm glad you finally watched it. I'm glad you liked it. And I'm glad you recommended it, Dusty. It was a good, timely pick.
Hopefully the second one holds up. It won't be as good as the first, but I don't think anything will because, we've both said this is one of the greatest comedies of all time. So
yeah, you can't relive that. I mean, listen, Adam Sandler's movies, not just this one, they're so quotable and memorable. And that is just a testament to how good they're. Like whenever somebody tells me they don't like Adam Sandler, like I just literally laugh in their face. I'm like, okay, dude, that's a real cool opinion to have because, like, I could quote Billy Madison and this movie, but Billy Madison. There's a period of time in my life when I discovered that movie. I fucking watched it like over and over and over and over. I could quote these movies like almost perfectly. Honestly, I didn't even watch it for this review because it's so ingrained in my memory. I didn't have time to watch it. Didn't have to. Usually I feel pressure. Like I got to watch the movie on Sunday now because we record on Monday. I don't want to be, but I was like, it's fine if I don't watch it. Like I know it by heart.
Right.
And just as an example of that, I'm going to, in Billy Madison, when he gives his little debate thing at the end of the movie and the principal gives his speech, Mr. Madison, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response did you even come close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Like, the fact that I just know that at 38 years old is a testament to the types of movies that Adam Sandler makes. Love him or hate him.
They kind of parried it in old school when they did the debate.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell like blacks out. That's how you debate.
Love it or hate it, he makes iconic movies, and that's just that. He's an icon. He's a human icon. I love Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That has always stuck with me. May God have mercy on your soul is one of the just because he like says
Just because he said something stupid. Like, what the
It's
fuck?
a great GIF.
May God have mercy on your soul.
That's crazy.
It's so funny. Any final words from you guys?
Watch the
no.
movie. You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, it's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips.
So this has a 7 on IMDb. That is criminally low for this movie. I'm bumping it. It's a 10 for me, baby.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a 9 from me.
This is probably an 8.
8? The fuck?
8. All right.
Yeah.
Damn, Marvin.
That's
you were
fair.
gonna hit it
I
with
thought
a
it
10.
would be a little bit funnier. It was funny, but like I said, I feel like the other stuff is funnier to me. So
It might be also, well, his older, like Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, Little Nicky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Yeah, look at this fucking violence, vulgarity, all the good
Big
stuff.
Daddy is also great.
Big Daddy's an incredible movie overall. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but like
for
so
sure. Big
that's
Daddy,
the thing.
yeah.
When I say Sandler movies, I'm not talking about every movie he's ever been in. I'm talking about the ones that are like Sandler shtick types of movies
Yeah.
like this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Happy Madison Productions.
Yeah, I mean, Big Daddy's a movie that he's in, and it's fantastic. It's probably my overall favorite of his movies, but I don't consider that like an Adam Sandler movie. Do you know what I mean?
Really, it's the same director. This Dennis Dugan guy.
I know it's the same director, but it's a different vibe, tone, totally different. It's a more
Really?
serious movie. Yeah, it's a more straightforward, serious comedy. The movies that are about his like this shtick that he developed, these characters that yabba-doo type of bullshit that he developed on Saturday Night Live, like a lot of his earlier
Even
movies
before,
were
his
like
old
that
stand-up
character.
is on point. Like the drunken goat is
Yeah.
iconic.
So when I say Snyder, when I say Jesus Christ, am I stroking out?
Gilmore.
When I say Sandler movies, I'm talking about the ones that have that character that he developed,
I see.
which was not present in Big Daddy. And
Got
Mr. Deeds is another great one too. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
love
seen
Mr.
it. Yeah.
Deeds.
And
So
Bitty
good.
Bitty Sneaky.
Yeah, and very sneaky, sir.
Oh, boy.
But
Irving.
there you have. Yeah, that's Irv.
That is Irv.
But there you have it, folks. There's Marvin's first time watching Happy Gilmore. He liked it. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? You guys should go check it out. Leave your
You
thoughts.
can't be not seeing stuff that I've seen now.
Yeah,
That's
that's questionable at best. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of Happy Gilmore. When did you watch it at first? That's actually a curious question because I've obviously seen this movie from when I was a fucking kid. You're watching it for the first time now as almost a 30-year-old or something. What are you, 32 or something?
31.
Yeah, I for some reason I think you're like 27.
I'll take it.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd be. There's definitely like a disconnect, right? If you've seen it way back when it was like more relevant in terms of like the style of humor now. But yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this movie. Any points about it that you wanted to touch, that you would like to let us know about that we maybe didn't touch on. Next week starts the month of February, so we're watching. What'd we say? Nosferatu, yeah. So we post our schedule over on our Discord. If you want to join the Discord, there should be a link down in the description. You can head over to our website, harshlanguage.tv, which also has access to all of our links. But Discord's a really good place to see what our upcoming schedule is for the month, and if you want to watch along with us. We also post them on Twitter and Blue Sky and all that other stuff too. So we will catch you next week. I'm real excited to watch that one. Not gonna lie to you guys.
I've heard great things.
So have I. I hope I'm not miserably disappointed.
Same.
So join us next week. We'd love to have you back. If you've enjoyed today's episode, leave a like on it. Consider subscribing if you have not done so already. And thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Hasta.